Yeah, I'm on my weird way. Get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophy. Yeah, I had to pray. I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot. I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, I'm on my weird way. Get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophies. Yeah, I had to pray. I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot. I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, killing my verses, living my purpose. Yeah, healing my burdens, giving my service. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe.
Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Gorilla Cross Radio, GorillaCross.com, and the Gorilla Cross app. Make sure you download that app for free. We have a dope show for you once again today, broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas. I'm your host, Quan59. Got my man just in time, Josh Williams, in the building. What's good?
Man, I was good until I realized Dave Chappelle is going to be in town. And it's like $400 a seat.
Wow.
He's coming, I think it was July 2nd to MGM.
Okay.
So, yeah, that both made my day and blew my day at the exact same time.
I mean, just watch the comedy special.
No,
it'll be up.
Have you ever seen him?
I've never seen him live.
In person. He's insane in person.
It's the same on TV. You're telling jokes.
No. Well, because you gotta think those comedy specials, they're only an hour. You know what I mean? Hour and a half max.
Yeah.
Like if you're there, sometimes those sets can go for 2 hours, 3 hours. I was in Phoenix when I saw him. I think it was like 2.5 hours. It was great. Talks about the news. Like there's a whole lot of stuff that doesn't make the cut. Yeah, it's on the cutting room floor, as they say. All right. So yeah.
There you go. Listen, we are here live every Monday at some time and every Thursday at some time. Times are changing. I think it's going to be 1 o'clock. I think that's what we're kind of agreeing on with the relaunch. We're starting new in May. We have some new things happening.
Very exciting.
A possible new co-host.
Co-hosts.
Well,
hosts.
One won't be a co-host necessarily.
Who?
The females aren't necessarily the co-hosts. They're here for.
Oh. No, they are. They're
in a way.
They're what's.
We'll
I'm trying to think of what the title would be.
Yeah.
Official presenter. Or
official presenter. Well,
I'm really bad at that. I'm really bad at that. I'm really bad at that.
Trust me, I know.
I'm very good at it, actually. You just put me on the spot all the time.
You feel bad now that I said you were bad the other day?
Nah, trust me. My first ones are very rarely gems. It takes about 5 to get through them, and then it's like, okay, that was a pretty good one.
I hate how we're angled because my camera is now on the wrong side of you.
Is it?
When we look at each other in the screen.
Oh, I see.
Because you used to be over here.
Yeah, because
then I moved you.
If I'm on camera, I am now not looking at you at all.
And now you're not centered.
Oh,
but no, I mean you're good.
I'll slide.
You're good.
To the left.
At least you got a fresh haircut, so when
No, this isn't fresh HD, at all.
Listen, it's more fresh than it was a few weeks ago.
Well, you caught me in between cuts.
It was pretty bad a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it happens. Can't always be fresh, Quan.
Yeah, I feel you. But listen, man, we are here live. We have a lot of UFC to talk about. Most of the show is pretty much going to be UFC based because we do have a UFC fighter live on the line, and we're excited about that. So we're going to get to him in just a minute, and we're going to give you our picks for this weekend's main events in UFC 261, which I said I was going, and obviously I'm still in the studio in Vegas. So that is not happening for me this weekend.
Planes are fast, Quan. It happens.
Listen, if I had another engineer to engineer the studio, I think life would be different, Josh. But I do have some people.
Interns.
So, we're training Jose from Straight Bet Sports. He's learning. I got a couple other people that are interested in, learning.
I wish not to learn. So
I'm not going to ask you. I wouldn't trust you back here.
Dang. You wouldn't trust me?
Not with the equipment. Come on.
Man, look. I just would be back there eating. That's the only problem. Like,
you can't eat over here.
See, the snacks.
Not over here.
The snacks is.
I'm the only one that can eat over here.
Yeah. Well, that's because
I own the equipment.
Yeah, there's that too.
So if someone else spills on my equipment,
it's a problem.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
When I spill, oh God, that's my fault. I'll buy a new soundboard.
Be mad at yourself.
Yeah. But if someone else spills on it,
those are fighting. Those are fighting words in the streets.
Exactly. But we're gonna jump right into it, man. It was a dope fight this weekend. There was a dope card for the Robert Whittaker and Gastelum fight. Whittaker destroyed him. We'll talk about that fight a little bit. We'll ask our guests about the fight of fights that night, which I mistakenly was watching that more than the Whittaker fight, and I'm mad about that. I had to go back and rewatch the Whittaker fight because your boy, what Paul? One of the Pauls, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul
fought your favorite fighter, Ben Askren.
Oh,
so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that and everything else UFC. But first, we met him at Contender Series year and a half, almost 2 years ago now.
Jesus,
it's been almost 2 years. The whole quarantine put us a whole year back, so we think things happened 6 months ago, and it was almost 2 years ago. Exactly. Like, I have no idea. 2020. Did we have that yet? But he just won his second fight in the UFC.
In a row.
My man killed it. Listen, man, he killed it. First of all, one of the best smiles in the UFC. I'll just put that out there right now. This dude is a happy guy. You can go ahead and unmute your mic. We got my man Tony Gravely live on the video line with us. Tony, how you feeling? You just won a big fight. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Happy to be on here and talk to you guys again.
Yes, sir, man. It's been a while. Last time, I think we just had a phone call interview with him, right?
Yeah.
So that was 2 years ago. We've upgraded cameras. We look a lot better.
Oh, wow.
That was in the old studio.
I think that was in the old studio.
That was definitely in the old studio.
Wow, Tony. Yeah. See, we got to get you in the studio. Well, see, you wouldn't even have known the progression.
Yeah, he didn't see the old studio. But he did see the progression because he saw our cameras were not as good.
Fair enough.
He had to call in on his phone.
Yeah.
And now he's here live with us. Video, we can see his face. You can see ours. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Well, sometimes we're cute, sometimes
I
we're
didn't
not.
see the last studio, but this looks legit. The setup, the microphones, it looks clean. Everything looks good.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony.
And we tried to get you in the studio, but I knew, you told me you had to fly out right away. So
yeah, same night.
What's that like, man? You beat somebody up, then got to get on a plane and go home. What's that like?
It was like bittersweet because it's like I think the next fight was Sunday at around like 11:59 p.m. So I would have had to quarantine a whole nother day. Stay in the hotel, just hang out in the hotel for a whole nother day. So we kind of just decided to bite the bullet, get out of there right after. But it was cool. It just going from like fighting, getting back, get something to eat, getting your stuff ready, and then straight to the airport and back home.
Now, how long did you stay for the whole UFC fight night, or did you leave right after your fight, pretty much?
Well, usually the way they do is they don't really let you kind of stay in there. So like once your fight's over, you do like interviews and pictures, and then they take you back to like your limo, and then take you back to your hotel. So it's kind of like you don't really get to hang out and watch the fights, which I wish I could, because you love to see, like, there's a lot of good fights, and I want to see them live, but I still watched them. I just had to wait till I got back to the hotel and then watch them on TV.
Okay.
Yeah. Now in terms of just, as Kwame was saying, flying right back out, do they make you quarantine after you fight? Like, I know that they quarantine you guys and sequester everyone before you fight, but even after your fights, you would still have to potentially quarantine before you could leave?
Yeah, so like everything is a quarantine pretty much, you know.
Wow.
So as soon as your fight's over, even you know, whether I was leaving the night of or the Sunday, I think once you get back to the hotel, you have to quarantine, because that hotel is the same one they use for like every fight week.
Oh.
So it's kind of like the protocol. So so everybody that's at that hotel is just quarantine, you know. So you can't leave. You can leave the hotel once you've done your tests and stuff, but it's all places that they take you. Like you go to the grocery store fight week. You go to the PI to train a couple times, but other than that, you can't just like go out on the strip and go out and get your own food.
You're stuck.
You got like Uber Eats and stuff like that. So everything is kind of you're kind of secluded to this one, like 3 locations the whole time.
So get me on the first flight out. I got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Like, all right, if I got to quarantine a whole nother day, I kind of rather just go home, you know?
That makes sense then.
Yeah,
I mean, that
yeah.
definitely makes sense. Bro, I mean, it was a great fight. His name was Josh. What was his name? I know you had it.
Shoot. Nah, I'm not.
Tony, what was his name?
Nah, I don't even.
Anthony Burchak.
Anthony Burchak. So, I
Burchak.
mean, you beat him so bad we forgot his name.
No.
But no, for real, man. It looked like you were dominating the first round. And then there came a point when he got you on the ground. It looked like, and the commentators even said, and I was scared. I'm like, no, don't tap. It looked like you put your hand up. Were you about to tap, or were you just trying to get him off you? And be honest with us.
I didn't even hear about that, about people thinking that I was going to tap, until like one of the interviews I did. They said, yeah, it looked like it was really tight, like you were about to tap. It's like, no, I was just trying to find his hands. You know, like my arm was outside of his leg. So when I reached it, kind of like stopped my hand. So then I had to bring it back the other side. But it wasn't tight enough to tap. I think it was kind of like a desperation guillotine, you know?
Yeah.
And in the gym, and I at American Top Team, I train with the best in the world, some really good guillotine guys. And so if there's one thing that I'm good at in grappling, it's defending the guillotine. So, you know, it wasn't tight enough to tap. I was just trying to find his fingers. Couldn't get past his leg. Had to go through the legs and get his hands and fight the hands and get my neck out.
Now, just talking about America Top Team, can you talk about that move that you made after your first UFC fight, which was sadly a loss, but then now that you've had 2 straight wins, as I mentioned before, can you talk about how your new team is really helping to prolong your career and make you into a different player?
Yeah, it's the American Top Team, as many people know, I think is the best gym in the world. We have so many phenomenal athletes from 125 men 125 all the way up to heavyweight, and every single training session is a grind. You got the best in the world, all the best in the world in one place, and every training session you get to go with the best in Bellator, the best in Ryzen, the best in UFC, the best in one championship, up and comers. So and you get all these different body types, different skill sets, great strikers, great grapplers, great wrestlers, anything you can think of, everything you need, amazing coaches, anything you need is in one place, strength and conditioning, everything. So
That's dope.
It's like a fighter's heaven is like the best way I can describe it. And the way it's ran by Richie Conan and Dan Lambert and Primo is just it's phenomenal how they keep the gym running so smoothly, and anything you need, they're more than willing to help you. If it's something that they can't help you with personally for some reason, they'll find someone that can help you with it. So I couldn't be in a better place. I'm just excited to be here, proud to be a part of this team that I've watched since before I even started fighting. I always knew American Top Team was like the best.
Yeah.
Before I started fighting, I remember watching American Top Team versus Black Zillions, I had, I wasn't even fighting yet. And I was like, man, that gym is amazing. Like I would love to go to that gym before I even started fighting, so, and here I am, years later. So it's crazy how it played out.
Now, did they approach you or did you go to them and want to team up with them?
I went to them. I came down. I have a buddy that I wrestled with in college, one of my best friends, that lives in Florida. So I came down to visit him and decided to come down to the gym and see what it was like, which I knew it was going to be like. It was going to be great, but I wanted to come down and see what it was like. You see it on TV and you see these fighters on TV, but when you get to feel it and see it in person, it's a lot different. So came in and this place is amazing. Like I would love to, like, after I moved down, I was like, at some point I'm going to move here. Like I want to move here. And I guess it was probably maybe a year or two later is when I made the move. But I had been down twice for like a week or so to train and work out. So I kind of got to know everybody the first couple of times I came. So when I decided to really move, I already knew everybody, kind of had my foot in the door and knew everybody that I was going to be working with.
Yeah. Now, what was that move like? Because you had to move to a whole different place. You moved to Florida. You have a wife. How receptive was she to that?
It was one of those things where, we've always lived in a small town in Virginia. And it's, like when you live in places like that, you're like, it's like part of you enjoy the smallness and the lack of so many people in traffic. But you also, when you're like younger and stuff, you want to experience newer things as well. So,
sure.
And she understands that the reason why we moved is because, the gym's amazing and that's what I need to be the best me in fighting. And so she was down for it and we decided to make the move. And, one thing there are a couple of differences about Florida. Florida is a lot more people. A lot faster paced than Southern Virginia, and it costs a lot more. The cost of living is a lot more too.
I bet.
I'm not sure how Vegas is, but I know Southern Virginia is pretty cheap. There ain't a lot of people. Not many people really want to live in Southern Virginia, and if you do, you probably want to move just because, at least when you're younger, because you're doing stuff all the time. But
and what part of Virginia were you in as well? I can't remember.
I lived in Radford, Virginia, which is close to Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech is.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But I'm originally from Martinsville, Virginia, which is even smaller.
Okay. Martinsville is where NASCAR, the race.
Yeah, that's how everybody knows when.
There it is.
Speedway.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, I mean, his wife is supportive and she's in his corner all the time. So, if you're watching a Tony Gravely fight,
so cool.
You're going to see her in the corner. How is that? Because you don't see that a lot with, the wives being in the corner. How does that work? And do you guys ever, argue about some of that stuff in the corner?
No, it's she, like her being there, it's just fully supportive. Obviously she can't really give me any fight advice, but she will be completely honest if something doesn't, look right or things like that. But yeah, it's great to have her because she's with me all the time. So it's a big comfort level to have her in my corner. And it's a little unorthodox because a lot of fighters don't have their significant others in the corner, but she's been with me before I even started fighting. She, this whole journey. So like my very first fight, we were together, so it's just one of those things that's kind of become like a family thing. And, she understands the importance. And I understand how important it is to have her in my corner. Yeah. So she's easy to be in the corner. She doesn't say anything. She just kind of, most times she's really like anxious and like nervous, but she just likes to be there and I like having her there. So, she's a part of it. The coaches understand and they understand that that's what I enjoy. So, whatever is going to make me the best me, they're down for.
Tony, now I have, I can already visualize something for you right now. Okay. I want you to prepare yourself. I want you to prepare yourself. Okay. So this is what's going to happen. Tony Gravely is going to be in a 5-round fight. I don't know where alongside, where in his progression this is going to be. But at some point in the fight, it's going to be the 4th or 5th round, and your wife is going to say, like, maybe you're losing. She's going to give you a speech, and you're going to win the fight.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she's going to give you the Rocky speech.
No, well, no,
you can't win, Rocky.
No,
and then no easy way out comes on.
No, you can't win. Not that one. No, she's gonna basically say
give the motivational speech.
Yeah,
she's gonna show up in Russia.
I need you to bite. I need you to 2 times a Rocky 4.
Come on, man. I'll do Rocky 4 all day.
But yeah, no, I can visualize that already for you right now. She's going just, and especially it came right back to what you were just saying in terms of. She's not necessarily the most vocal, or not necessarily a person that is going to step up and say something. She's gonna say something, and you're gonna get charged, and it's gonna be a different fight.
I could see that. We can go back. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like before the Contender Series fight, she was like, I had a dream that he was gonna try to fly a knee, and so like she mentioned it. And we talked to my coach. He was like, yeah, we should try to, we should just think about like what to do if that happened, And, I'm thinking like, oh, whatever, it's not really going to happen. But, this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to do this. And it happened. Third round, he runs out, tries to fly a knee. We actually worked some stuff, and like I actually did the things that we worked. I just stuck a jab out there. So that was one little thing that she actually did have, have a part to do with. So that was pretty
She's
cool.
got some more for you. I'm telling you, she's got some more coming.
That's dope. You can't ever get rid of her out of your corner now, Tony.
Well, I wasn't planning. I don't think. I think she divorced me, Fabio. It was like, oh yeah, you got to get out of here.
Oh my goodness.
But no, it's motivating. Like to like you're warming up, and like I know that like what I do as a fighter, it can possibly make or break both of our lives. So it's like extra motivation to see her in the corner. And, if I feel like I'm not feeling good or don't want to do something, I see her and I'm like, I got to do this for the two of us, So it's extra motivation.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, Tony, back to Quan was saying, that first round where it looked like you could have been in trouble. Prior to that moment, you knocked him down with a huge right hand. And really had him hurt. Do you think, first, do you think that you had an opportunity to finish the fight? And then second, do you think Mark should have finished the fight? Should he have ended the fight in the first round?
I think that like when I dropped him and I got on top of him, I don't remember exactly. I haven't watched the fight yet. I'm going to watch it tonight. But I was probably a little too overeager to finish. And then I think that's when I got swept. But I was just thinking, stay composed, don't give your back up, because I know he's good off being on people's back. And I just, when things happen in fights, like for example, like how I lost my debut, I got body triangled in the third and just having a hard time getting him off me.
Yeah.
Like things that stick in my head really quick, and I'm like, not doing that again.
Yeah.
So I stay disciplined. And then somehow, I don't remember exactly how the other transitions, I got back on top, and I thought that he was going to stop it when I had him against the cage, and I was landing the strikes from underneath his, striking underneath his armpit. He would build up, and then he would drop, and then he would build up, and he would drop, and I was like, surely he's going to stop it, and I was hoping he would, but he didn't. But I'm actually glad he didn't, because it felt a lot better to drop him again and then finish him from dropping him in the second round.
So Tony, you've now had 2 straight wins. You started sadly with a loss in the UFC, but you have 2 straight wins. Are you beginning to start to establish your name in the UFC, and what do you think it's going to take to get to the upper echelon of your division, of the Bantamweight division?
No, I hope I'm establishing myself. I hope I feel like my last fight that I have won wasn't really like the best me. I won, but it was just kind of wasn't as exciting as I wanted to be. I didn't really pose as many threats as I wanted to. In this last fight, I think I I would say that I did better than that. You know, I actually went to finish the fight and I actually finished it.
And you got performance of the night, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. And I got one of the performance bonuses, which is great.
Nice.
You know, that always helps.
Listen, man,
congratulations.
Anytime you get a bonus, that's amazing. And
Congratulations, brother.
I'm sure your corner woman loved that too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. You know, just getting like winning it. Like I said, winning is amazing. And then when you get a bonus, it's like it kind of helps in the fact that, you know, you would think it helps in the UFC's eyes, like, oh, this guy's exciting. You know, he goes out there, gets the job done, you know, in a dominant fashion. So, but this division, it's a stacked division, and it's gonna take more of these to get myself there. You know, I'm heading in the right direction, but I know I've got, you know, since the division's so big, I have a little bit of ways to go to get up there. I do think that, my skill set right now is within the top 15, but I think, you know, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, getting finishes, winning, being as dominant as I can, and I think soon, you know, I'll finally crack the rankings and really start getting my name out there and getting respect that I should get.
Now, you didn't take a lot of beating, you know, in this fight. How soon do you think you could fight again? Have you talked to them at all, you know, about a quick turnaround?
I would have been willing to fight this weekend.
Okay.
Wow.
If there was something, but I think the one Bantamweight fight that I think would have worked out, somehow it got scratched, and so that's not happening. So actually next weekend, me and my wife and her parents are going to go to Disney World, and then the end of May I'll be going see my parents in Virginia. So May's kind of out of the question. You know?
Yeah.
But hopefully I could do June or July would be great. So I'm still gonna, you know, I'm gonna be back in the gym on Monday, and I've been taking some time to kind of chill. But on Monday I'll be back in the gym, working, you know, as if I have a fight, and if something pops up, then I'll be ready.
Yeah, and there's a huge card out here in July, McGregor versus say it, Josh. Man,
come on, Poirier.
I don't know why I'm blanking on people. McGregor and Poirier 3. So that, I mean, listen, that would be huge to be able to come to Vegas and do that one.
Yeah, I would definitely love. That would be one I would enjoy being on too. So
fans, you'd have fans in the stands again.
Yep. That's a full crowd too, right? Like 20,000
full crowd.
people.
Yeah.
So they say right now.
So they say. I mean, it's Vegas, so we'll see. But it should be. And this weekend, UFC 261 out there in Florida, Jacksonville, where I'm supposed to be. I'm heartbroken right now. It's the first full fan UFC. What has that been like, fighting in front of people? And obviously you did that in Contender Series and Apex, but fighting in front of no people.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. It's kind of bittersweet, because it's like, if you're somebody that gets nervous from the crowd, because there are fighters that get super nervous and they don't perform as well, then, you know, that kind of takes that element out. It's almost like you're in practice. It's like in the gym, you go in there, there are people watch you spar, but like not that many people, you know. So if you think about it that way, and you're like, oh, you know, I'll just go in there and do everything I do in the gym, because that's how I see fights anyway. Like, I don't get that nervous. I'm like, if I perform like I perform in the gym, I'm going to do great. You know, and you go in there and it's pretty much just like that, other than the camera. You know? You go out there and it's just like the gym, except it's real, you know. And you don't have to worry about not hurting your partner, or, you know, things like that. But everybody, you know, I'm sure, I know I do, along with all the other fighters, miss the fans in the crowd and the cheering. You know, after a win is when that's like the best. You know, like you finish somebody and then the crowd's going crazy. And it's not quite like that in the Apex. It is. Your corner's going crazy, but you go crazy. Yeah. But it's a little different when you can get the feedback and feel that energy from the crowd. So it definitely makes a huge difference. And some people love the crowd, and they do better when they see a crowd or feel a crowd. So everybody's different, but for me, it's been bittersweet. I enjoy it, but I also would like to get back in front of a crowd.
Now, do you think you're going to appreciate it more next time you're in front of a full crowd again, and hearing that roar? What's that going to be like to be able to be there? Because we didn't think that would ever happen. We didn't think there'd be fights without 15 to 25,000 people.
Yes.
So are you going to appreciate that more when you actually get to fight in front of a full crowd?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think everybody is going to appreciate a lot more because even though, like, as a fighter, you just fight. You don't necessarily always think about what's the crowd, which I guess you necessarily aren't supposed to, because you got to go and do your job anyway. But you kind of take for granted what the crowd does for the atmosphere of a fight and your win and within the fight. So I know I will I never underappreciated the crowd, but I'm definitely gonna appreciate a lot more getting to experience that again after so long not having them.
And was there any benefits as a fighter to fighting without a crowd?
I think the benefit would be the biggest benefit for me is being able to actually hear your corner. Like a lot of times in the fight, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
You hear random things, and sometimes you even hear random people in the crowd who are just loud, like calling out things. And I've done that before. Cool. Like in a fight, somebody random in the crowd will be really loud and they're calling out something, and you just do what they say, because you hear it. But yeah, just being able to hear your corners. And, if you're somebody that I usually do a pretty good job of keeping my nerves in check and my everything like that. But if you're somebody that gets really nervous, the lack of crowd and the lack of people possibly was an advantage.
Yeah.
Now, Tony, you had just mentioned, when you were kind of breaking things down, how when you spar, you don't have to worry about hurting people, or, you have to consider, hurting your sparring partner. What is that switch like for when you actually, okay, this is real and I can hurt you as much as I want? Like what is that? Like that, just hearing you say that tweaks something to me is like, wow, that's dope that you can think that way.
I think the biggest difference would be like, as when you're spar, like when we spar each other, we go hard, but we're not really trying to kill each other, and we also have bigger gloves too. So, but I guess the biggest difference for me is I really like to slam people. So if I know that, I can just slam this dude on his head and not have to worry about it, then that's a little different for me. But and when you spar too, like even in a fight, you shouldn't really like try to hit the person as hard as you can, because that's usually when you miss a lot. You throw really big and you think about every punch you want to kill somebody are the ones that you usually, if you do hit them, it doesn't kill them. Like in my fight, the punches that I threw that I didn't even really think about were the ones I just clipped them and he dropped. But the ones, but as far as like, not having to worry about hurting anybody, it's not that, like, I guess a switch, it's flipping a switch, and it's just, I guess the only difference would be when you're fighting like you're sparring with your training partners, and it's not even that I could really hurt my training partners. They're amazing fighters, but just if it happened, I would feel bad. But in a fight, I have zero worries about the guy's health. Like whatever happens.
Yeah.
He signs the dotted line. Same goes for me. If he hurts me, I get hurt.
Like, can't do anything about it. Yeah,
that's deep. That is deep.
That's dope though.
Now, Tony, you were the biggest favorite on the card, and you led the card. Did you feel any pressure to perform from the very beginning just because of those two factors?
And I almost put money on the other guy just because it was such a big.
I would never say
I'm joking. I don't bet anyways.
Nah, I didn't feel much pressure. I mean, it's one of my good friends told me this a long time ago. He said, you should only feel pressure to do something when you should only feel pressured when you're asked to do something you're not prepared to do. So when I go into these fights, no matter what the odds are, whether I'm the favorite or the underdog, I'm prepared to win. I'm prepared to go out there, give 120%. I'm prepared to get finishes. I'm prepared to be the big dog, So I just go out there and I do it, and I try to I take away everybody else's opinion, my opinion, and I just go and I give everything I have for that amount of time that it takes, whether it's 30 seconds or 15 minutes. But that's all I can do is do the best that I can do, and I just go out there. I don't think about anything else. I just go out there, I'm in the moment, and I just give it everything I have.
Now, Tony, I see that you've got the new UFC gear on. You've got the Venom T-shirt on. How do you feel the Venom partnership is helping the fighters?
That's a dope shirt.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's different, I guess. No, not super different, but I guess the one biggest difference would be we get paid a little more from Venom than Reebok, but it's kind of the same, as a fighter. When you, at the end of the day, when you go out there and you compete, it's like the same, you get clothes, you go out there. The main thing you're focused on at the time is just go out there and fight. And, but it's cool to have like new gear and I like the colors and I like everything. So it's always cool to have new stuff. It's like Christmas, like,
yeah, you get the new merch.
It's nice, got the fresh clothes, new shoes. So that's really cool.
How much gear do you guys get when you're getting ready for a fight?
We get like a duffel bag full of stuff. So we get like sweatpants, joggers, hoodies, shirts, underwear, socks, shoes.
Wow.
And that's like not including our fight kit. And we get slides, like the UFC slides that people use to walk out in.
Yeah.
And then our fight kit is just like the same as all the corners get. You get the, get your top, your shirt, joggers.
Now in your fight kit, Tony, do you guys get to pick your color?
So yeah, we get to pick like, so black and white are kind of like neutral colors. Mm-hmm. And then there's different colors based on the country that you're from. And I had a conversation with the guy. I was like, man, my choices were blue, black, and white. So I already had blue twice, and I picked black. And I was like, man, I was looking last week, and I was like, man, the green and the red, I really like the red, the way the colors pop in the red.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, red looked great. Like, and I asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, it sounds kind of weird, but it's based off of like your country. So if I wanted to get red, I would have to, like on our fight shirts, on the sleeve, it'll have like USA or, Canada, wherever. So that would have to change on my sleeve in order for me to get like red. So if I wanted red, I could say I'm from Jordan or something, like, I don't know why it has to work like that.
I mean, our country has red, white, and blue. That's the first one. The first color.
I don't know. That's just what they said, and I don't really want to change. I really take pride in being from America, from the United States. So I don't really want to change the logo, like, on the sleeve. But he said you can do that if you wanted to, but you would have to. I mean, it's small, it's something really small on the sleeve, but.
You're Canadian. You're Canadian the next fight.
Canadian.
You're Canadian. You're a Canuck the next fight. It's all right.
Pick some random country, like some really small country I've never
Cameroon.
heard of. Yeah, put it on there.
I feel like they're red.
That's great. So you're not going to UFC 261 this weekend, but you will be watching it. I want to give our fight predictions, and I want to get Tony's fight predictions for these championship fights, 3 championship fights. This is going to be a great card. It's definitely a great way to open up having a full crowd again out there in Jacksonville, Florida, where I should be. I don't know if I mentioned that on the show today.
Maybe once or twice.
But I'm just upset because my media credentials finally came in, and I'm not there. But
should have got on a plane. I told you to get on a plane.
I should have gave Tony my media credentials because he's trying to go.
You could have, yep, and I could have rolled.
Did you
there.
Wait? Did you rescind their credentials?
You had to.
I told you not to do that.
Why? You have to.
Not to do that.
What are you talking about? You have to.
Oh, you're supposed to go. It took us like 5 months.
Josh, are you going to run my studio for me?
we would have figured it out.
No, we didn't. We didn't figure it out.
We didn't figure it out.
We didn't figure it out.
All right, we have company. Sorry, Tony.
Anyway,
go ahead. These are housekeeping issues.
All right. UFC 261. We'll go ahead and start on the top. Josh, do you have them up?
What's that? Oh, the fights?
Well, I'll pull them up. Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. This is their second fight. The last fight, obviously, Masvidal took on 6 days' notice. Said he was super out of shape. Said he had to lose a lot of weight. Now, do you believe that he had to lose as much weight as he said he did? Or do you think, because I personally think he was ready for that fight in case something happened, because we knew COVID was going on, right? We knew there was a chance Burns or Usman would have to pull out of the fight. There's always that chance. He knew he was next up. Do you think he really had to lose as much weight as he had to lose? And how do you think he's going to fare in this next fight?
I'm not sure as far as I remember him. He's actually he trains American Top Team, so I remember seeing if I can remember right, I remember seeing him in the gym a little bit before that, and he did look pretty big. So
yeah,
Inside information.
I do believe that he was actually that big, before the fight. So, but with that being said, I love Jorge. He's a cool dude, and he works hard, you know. And but then again, Usman's also super tough. He's a really tough guy. He fights very smart. He's a dominant champion. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think Masvidal has what it takes. I think he needs to create some chaos in there. I wouldn't say kind of like not like necessarily what he did to Ben Askren, but that would be great if he just ran out there and did that. But how he created that chaos in that short amount of time, that's kind of what I think that's something he needs to do, kind of, because we know that Usman's gonna try to clinch him and gonna grapple him, because that's where his advantage lies. So, but I do think that Masvidal has what it takes, and he's a scrapper, and I think that at least from what I can only go off of what I've seen. And he's been working hard. He's been in there working hard. He's been working everything, working his grappling, defensive wrestling, everything, And we know that he's a better striker. So it's hard for me to go against any of the ATT guys, because I watch how hard these guys work, and I see it every day. So it's hard for me to bet against, one of our guys, because we train hard, and I watch him train hard. So, but it's going to be a good fight. Either way, it's gonna be a good fight.
We're not going to force his hand on that call.
Well, and I think it'll be a much better fight than last time, because they were both. People keep saying that Masvidal took it on short notice, but at the same time, Usman was training for Burns. So there's a difference with that too, and that's why he fought a safe fight. A lot of people said it was a boring fight, but I actually love the fight, because he did what he had to do to not get hit.
It was boring.
It wasn't boring to me, though, because
you foot stomped somebody 37 times.
That's not boring to me. That's not boring. He dominated him. Masvidal did nothing. He dominated him in that fight, and to me, that's not boring to see a fighter do exactly what he has to do to make sure he wins that fight, because he had 6 days to prepare for this guy as well.
No, that's fair. Look, the UFC is different from boxing. Boxing, I feel like you can fight a little bit safer. You know what I mean? Because look, Tony just got performance of the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so they're looking for you to do something exciting. But if you do something exciting and you end up getting clipped, you lose your championship. Exactly. So there is a,
and that's not something he wanted to chance.
There's a balance.
And a lot of people said that I'll never get another Usman fight again. And we saw his fight against Burns, and that was an exciting fight.
No, that was exciting.
That was an exciting fight. So, you can't say that he's just a boring fighter because of that. But
no.
Who do you have, Usman or Masvidal?
Man, Tony gave me some things to think about. I said before that I felt like, we didn't see the best of Masvidal just because of the situation, and also because you got to also bring into account the travel factor of going to Fight Island and dealing with that and all of those things. That's not something to be looked past. Yeah. Jamal and some of our other fighters have kind of explained to us what that transition is like. So that also is something that you take into credit. For me, I don't know. I think Usman's better, but as Tony said, it's going to come down to the chaos. And there
Yeah.
were some exchanges where Jorge had the best of the exchanges. So if he's able to maximize those moments, then he's got a shot.
So who you picking though?
I'm picking Usman, but it's going to be
Close,
tight.
yeah.
And it could easily go the other way.
And I definitely think we'll see a much more exciting fight.
Yeah.
He'll be prepared more for that. They'll both be prepared for each other. I think you'll see more striking in here.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a better striker, but Usman, he's not a bad striker.
Yeah,
he's not a bad striker at all. So
that's true.
I think it's going to be a much better fight. I am taking Usman just because I thought he was going to have more trouble against Burns, and he looked a lot better.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And so for that factor, I am going with Usman, but it won't be surprising to me if Masvidal wins.
Yeah.
At all. And for Tony in the America Top Team, I hope he does win.
Yes.
Next fight, we have another championship women's strawweight title. Zhang Wei Li versus Thug Rose Namajunas. Who do you got in this, Tony? This is going to be a really good fight, but Wei Li had one of the best fights ever in the UFC. She looks unstoppable right now. Does Rose have a chance against Wei Li?
At first, this is a tough one for me because at first I was like, oh, Wei Li for sure, but you remember, like, it's hard. You can't look at, like, it's hard to do the math. Well, this person did this against that person, but you forget that Rose. I mean, hey, she's beat. How many times did she beat Joanna? Was it once or
twice?
Yeah.
I think
Twice?
she beat her twice.
Yeah.
So, but you can't do the math and say, oh, well,
And that was Joanna when Joanna was Joanna.
Yeah. So it's hard to, she beat Joanna at like her prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so it's hard to count Rose out strictly because of that. And she lost to Andrade, came back and beat Andrade. So Rose she's tough. She is tough. It's hard. I think she's got better movement, and I think she obviously Wei Li is a lot more physically stronger than Rose, but I think Rose is probably the smarter, more elusive fighter, and I think I feel like it's gonna go all 5 rounds, but I think Rose is gonna win. I think she has what it takes to win.
All right.
I'm with Tony again. I think Rose pulls this one out. It's gonna be an exciting fight. I mean, can we just talk about that? There's 2 lady title fights on a card, and everyone's excited.
Yeah.
Like that in itself is exciting. I think. Just to see those divisions, get bigger.
Yeah.
Outside of the GOAT, those other divisions are exciting. Her division's not so much, but those other divisions, they got some bodies down there.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's cool for the UFC. But
So
yeah,
you taking Wei Li?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I'm
I'm
taking Rose.
Taking Rose?
Taking the Thug.
Woo!
Taking the Thug.
I'm going with Thug too, which I'm hesitant because
Now you're nervous.
same thing. No, I'm not nervous. But you're right. I mean, Rose has beat Joanna before, and Joanna. I mean, it was a close fight. It's not like she got whooped. It could have went either way.
Yeah.
I mean, she, her head blew up with those hits, but she was in that fight, and that was one of the most entertaining fights I've ever seen. And I think this could be equal to that. I think this could definitely be up there as one of those fights that could go down in history as one of the best, women's fights in the UFC. And I hope it does. I like Rose a lot. She's been very vocal about a lot of political things, so there's going to be a lot of bad blood there.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
she has
said a lot about that.
Yeah,
and she stood her ground on that when people have tried to give her backlash.
Didn't
Listen, I don't care.
flat-footed.
This is how I feel. But I think it's going to be a great fight, and I would love to see Rose take that title. And I like them both. I really do. I think they're great fighters. I think it's great, like you said, Josh, for the women's division to have that fight. And the next fight we're about to talk about, Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade. Woo!
Yeah, that one's tough.
Valentina's right up there with Amanda, where they just are dominating everyone they fight. They fought twice. Amanda's beat her twice. I still think that's a fight that they need to make again. Does Andrade have a chance against Valentina?
Man, I got Valentina. I can't see Andrade beating her. I do like Andrade though. My cat keeps getting on the table.
Hey,
Hi, kitty cat.
what's up? What's the cat's name?
Her name's Daphne.
Daphne.
Hi,
Okay.
Daphne.
What's up, Daphne?
big.
That's a pretty cat.
She keeps getting on the table. I guess because like my attention is on something. It's just she like wants to be.
Like, what's going on?
But I really like Andrade. I like that she, like, a lot of women aren't quite as physical, and like her style of fighting is kind of like mine. I like to slam people.
Yeah.
So I really like Andrade, but I think Valentina is just too clean. Like everything is just too. It's just too smooth. Her striking is phenomenal. I don't really know
level.
much about her grappling. You know, if it comes to like clinch, I mean Andrade's probably. I mean, if it stays in the clinch a while, I think Andrade, you know, will land some strikes and possibly eat up some time, like to win a round. But I think Valentina's just gonna be too much.
Yeah.
He's just too much.
Right to what you're saying, you know, I think the only way that Jessica has a chance is if she muddies the fight. If she makes it an ugly fight and it's in the clinch, she's able to get her up against the cage. But to what you said before, Valentina is one of the most elusive fighters out there. She has great footwork. She has great timing. Her striking is impeccable. So it's gonna be tough. I'm taking Valentina, but you know, everyone has a puncher's chance, as they say.
Yeah, I'm taking Valentina in the second round. I think she's going to dominate her. I think it's going to be a dominant fight for Valentina. Yeah, she's amazing, man. Her and Amanda, I just don't think anybody can touch them. And I really hope they do fight again. Hopefully that does happen.
That would be a big
in the
fight.
next year or two. But I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what the UFC, like, we don't want you to fight again. Keep dominating in your area, and then we'll have another super fight, and it'll be bigger than the fights they've had before.
Yeah.
And then the last fight we'll talk about for UFC 261, Uriah Hall, who put Anderson Silva in retirement, versus Chris Weidman, who had beat Anderson Silva too and kind of put him on his downward spiral because Anderson was being a little, reckless.
Yeah.
Who do you got in this fight, man? Uriah Hall is looking good right now, but when he beat Anderson Silva, Anderson's definitely on a downward
On his last toe.
Yeah, he's our age, my age,
Your age. He's older than me.
So who do you got in this fight? Weidman, I'm not a huge fan of him, man. Like, sometimes he looks good, sometimes he looks like he should not be in the UFC anymore.
I'm gonna go Weidman strictly because I think he'll approach it in a smart way. I think he'll be more wrestling heavy.
Okay.
This time I got a cat fur on my face. Oh, here we go. I think he'll be more wrestling heavy, which I think is a smart way to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the fight's gonna be. He's gonna take him down, and just wear on him. And I think that's what I would do against a very dangerous striker. And I think he's smart enough to take that route.
This one, I feel, is going to be one of those fights that's going to be interesting with the crowd again, because Chris Weidman has a huge fan base, huge fan base. And, I think that he might get some extra energy off of that. I think it's probably going to be a knockout. I don't know who, but I'll go ahead and stick with Weidman.
You don't know who?
I'll stick with Weidman. I feel like this one's gonna get a finish. Someone's gonna get a finish in this one.
I agree with that. I think somebody will get a finish. I think it's going to be Uriah Hall. I like him. He's one of those fighters that I think should be better than what his record is. I think he's had some losses that he shouldn't have taken, but I am going with Uriah Hall. I think it'll be a good fight. Like I said, I'm just not sold on Weidman. I think his best days are behind him for sure. But I really do hope all these fights are good, man. It's going to be great having UFC with a full crowd again. I'm just excited because, we saw a little bit of a crowd with the McGregor fight in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't like the full, which it was fuller than I think they said. I think they said like 5,000 or 6,000, and it seemed like more.
I actually got the full story on that from the folks that run that arena. Basically, it was 4 people to a table, and the tables were socially distanced. So so basically in this section we might have 40 people. There might be 10 tables in a section type deal. Yeah. And that's kind of how they spaced everyone out. So I was like, well, if it was like that, then I guess it is a little bit closer to the numbers that they were talking about.
Yep. So, all right, UFC 261. Make sure you guys check it out this weekend. There was another huge fight. One of Tony's favorite fighters was fighting Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. What do you think of all this, Tony? I mean, and now we're hearing today that in June 5th, I think, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. We have to get Leonard in here to talk about that maybe next week. We need to get LRB back in the studio to talk about that fight. But what do you think about this? What do you think about the Paul brothers? They're obviously making their money, but they're fighting fighters that have no striking. Ben Askren looked looked extremely out of shape.
They said old timer boxer. He was hand fighting like this.
What do you think about this? And is this bad for sport for the combat sports, or is this good for combat sports?
I don't think it's really good for combat sports. I mean, it does draw like a new crowd, kind of, but the thing that sucks is like the new crowd is kind of like almost uneducated on fighting. You know, like you see stuff like this, and people think that he's like a real fighter, and it's not that he doesn't train. I mean, that's one thing, but like when you get somebody that's they fight, they've been fighting for years, they've been training for years. That's different, but and you get people that don't know, and they think that, oh man, Jake Paul's a great boxer. You know?
Boxing is better. Boxers are beating UFC fighters.
UFC fighters,
but they're beating them in boxing, and they're fighting UFC fighters that don't have any striking. Yeah, and if you put any of these boxers, any boxer in the UFC, and have them fight an actual UFC fight, I don't think any boxer will win.
Yeah, exactly. I think the same thing. You had an MMA fighter that was a phenomenal wrestler, and that's all they did in their fights. I don't know if he ever really trained stand up. Like he knew to get his hands on somebody and take him down.
Even the way his hands were up, he looked like he was a wrestler. I've never seen a stance like that.
I have in 1937.
He should have just did the like.
Yeah, exactly. Put up your dukes.
But it was hard to watch because like it's you obviously you want especially like coming from like someone that's a fighter that's been fighting for a while and is in MMA, you want the MMA guy to win, especially against somebody that is considered a YouTuber that just started fighting a couple years ago and hasn't fought anybody that's an actual fighter yet.
Because whether you like it or not, they are representing MMA, whether that's official or not. And I know Dana doesn't really like that, but it's true. They are representing UFC. They're representing MMA, no matter how they go about it.
You're talking about the fighters, Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, he's representing the UFC and 100%. MMA community, whether he cares about that or not, which obviously he cared about his money, which is smart for him.
Most money he's ever made.
But the outside fans and the people that don't know better, like Tony's saying, that looks like UFC lost.
It's definitely residue that falls back onto the UFC fighters and everything.
Yeah, because once you carry that name of being in the UFC or whatever promotion, whether that fighter sees it that way or not, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, that's a UFC fighter." Dude, Jake Paul beat a UFC fighter or beat a Bellator champion or World Series of Fighting champion. So I don't know if it's one series fight. It might have been one. Either I can't remember if it was World Series of Fighting or one championship where he had a belt. Might even been both.
He was in one. I'm not sure if he was in.
He was in one.
He was in one because he got traded for Mighty Mouse.
I gotcha. Who my teammate just knocked out.
Oh, he's your teammate.
Okay.
Yo, that was dope. I was surprised too. I thought
Well,
I like Mighty Mouse, but that was dope.
let's talk
Now,
to him about that.
Yeah, did he knee him or did he hit him?
He dropped him with the uppercut, and then as Mighty Mouse was trying to scramble back to his feet, then he kneed him and then and knocked him out and finished him. So it was
How do you feel about the knee on the ground, Tony?
Because you can't do that in the UFC.
I actually wish the UFC would have those rules, because that's
Really?
more of a real fight. Like there should be no point in a fight where, in my opinion, where a person should feel like they
Safe.
can rest.
Oh,
They should be on. They should be
you
on
gotta
edge
guard
at all
yourself.
times.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
a fight, so at all times you should be ready for whatever.
Wow.
And I think it should be legal. I like those rules because that's part of a fight. There should be no point where you're like, oh, I can rest here. It's that sense of urgency and that sense of, I need to guard myself when I'm coming up, when I'm like got my hands on the mat, anywhere. So I actually like those rules, and I wish that was the rule set that the UFC had, but I don't think it's ever going to be that way in the United States.
Yeah. Have you ever taken or given a knee to the ground?
Have I ever?
Yeah.
No, I've never taken or given a knee to the ground.
Okay. But you want to?
I would like to, yeah.
Wow.
I think that would benefit my style a lot. Because,
yeah.
Imagine being inside controlling somebody and you knee them in the head, or like they're turtled. Like my fight this past weekend, I could have very well just kneed them, and that could have been
Ball
that
game.
been it.
Now, were you thinking about it?
No. Well, when there was one point where he was coming up, I remember like, all right, make sure those hands come up, because I don't need that disqualification. I'm winning right now.
Yeah.
Make sure his hands come up. And I think I might actually been a little delayed on throwing the knee, but I'd rather have been delayed than throw it too early.
Be wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's real. That is real. We're live on the line with UFC bantamweight fighter Tony Gravely, 2-1 right now in the UFC. Fighting, hopefully fighting again this summer. Would be great to get him on the McGregor card. So hopefully you do get to get out here, man, and we could chop it up with you more in real life. But, dude, we appreciate everything you do, man, in the UFC and just your energy and the excitement you have. Like, you're not there just to get paid. You look like you're having fun, man. You're smiling. You could tell after the fight you got a little emotional. What is that like after a fight when you win and all that hard work, you get to see, like, the fruition of it?
It's crazy because it's like, it really is like a dream come true. Like, as a child, this is what I used to watch. In my household, we never really watched basketball, football. It was fighting. It was like MMA or it was boxing. It was back when the UFC first started, so it's kind of a lot rougher than it is now. So throughout my childhood all the way up, I've watched it as it progressed and grew, and always watched it. And that's something that I wanted to do. So it really is like a dream come true, getting to, and how I talked about earlier, watching, for example, like The Ultimate Fighter and seeing, American Top Team versus Black Zillions, and seeing all of these fighters at the gym. There are fighters now that, I train with or that are on the mats with me that I watched when like, for example, Andre Arlovski. And I got to share a car with him. We're at the same gym now. And I watched him, growing up. I watched him win the UFC title. I watched pretty much most of his career from like, as far as I can remember,
from 1980 on to now. I mean, he's been fighting forever.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Just so it's really emotional. You try not to get emotional, and I try to keep it together. But when you focus on something, it's one thing. But then once it's over, you kind of sit back and look at it all in a different perspective, and that's when you get emotional about, man, it's crazy. Like, I used to, before I even knew what I was gonna do, I was watching this. Before I committed to fighting, I was watching this on TV, had no clue what I want to do with my life, and then here I am years later, I'm a part of this, so it's crazy. Yeah.
No, and like you said, Arlovski, I mean, he's been fighting forever, and he just won again. I mean, he keeps going, and I think that's really dope that you see some of these older fighters, and that gives people hope. I think I'm gonna start fighting, Josh. I'm gonna start training now.
You're gonna start training. I'll be training my my stomach to do certain things that I like. Like continue to take in food.
Wow.
That's the fun.
No, Tony. Before you get out of here, I just have to ask you: have you realized that you're Tony Grappler yet? Have you realized that? Has that happened? And what does that question even mean to you?
You know, Tony Grappler, I hope I'm going to do my best to be the same person, no matter like how big I get. You know, to me, it's just like I'm Tony, and I hope that like everybody that grew up with me still sees me as the same Tony. You know, I don't want to ever be like, oh, I'm like this and that. I don't ever want to feel like that I'm being arrogant or cocky about anything.
Yeah.
So I hope that, you know, Tony is always the same Tony. I hope I'm the same approachable Tony. I hope everybody that I was friends with like growing up still treats me the same, still calls me, texts me everything that, you know, and I want to still reply to those same people no matter where my career takes me. Because I know that all this it could be temporary. I could never fight again for some crazy reason. You know, my career could stop right here, you know, or I could be at the very top and then it could stop and then I could lose it all. So I understand that nothing is forever. So, but what is forever is like how how people perceive you and how good of a person you can be and what kind of like effect you can have on somebody as far as like friendships and things like that. So that's the thing that I think is the most important. I hope people remember me as a good person, more than being a good fighter.
So character matters, and pretty much what he said is when he wins the Bantamweight belt, that he'll still do an interview with us on Unnamed Sports Show.
That's what I gathered. That's what I got as well.
Absolutely.
It might be a little harder to get a hold of him. Might have to wait.
It may take me a little bit longer, but I will eventually reply.
For sure, man. Tony, we appreciate it, bro. For sure. You are a fun fighter to watch. You're a great fighter to talk to, man. So we definitely appreciate everything you're doing in the UFC. We appreciate your character because you are a character guy, and you could tell. We talked to a lot of fighters, and I think all the fighters that we're cool with are definitely good character guys. But we've talked to some that have the ego and they carry themselves different. But you definitely have great character, man. So I definitely appreciate that. It's needed not only in UFC but just in the world in general, man. People don't smile anymore, and Tony's always happy, man. So I appreciate that from you.
Yeah, I try to always smile, and I always like I'll be somewhere, and I always like we always make a joke because like when we go places, like for example with my wife and her parents, we'll go somewhere, and we'll be like on a plane or something, and the flight's over, and somebody's talking to me as they're walking out. They're like, "Dang, you made a friend already!" Like like people just I don't know if it's like my face is welcoming because I smile, but like. People just like start talking to me, and sometimes people just tell me like personal stuff like from the start, and I don't know if it's because I'm always smiling or what, but like I
think it is because people don't
face.
People don't seem approachable these days, and they're not. So I think when somebody is like that and they're happy and they have that smile on their face, they feel approachable and refreshing. Yeah, I think Josh is the same way. To be honest, he's always approachable, always in a good mood. Like he's turning red right now. Oh, come on.
No. Look, you're try
approachable.
You try to live on 7. I don't try to live on 3.
Yeah.
It don't take very much for me to be very excited. It takes a whole lot for me to be really sad.
Yeah. But you're always polite. Anytime we go out to eat, I mean, he's always talking to the people that, the workers and stuff like that. So it's always it's a good thing, man. And I definitely think we need more characters like that in this world, especially the things we're going through right now, man. I definitely think it's needed.
Yes, sir. I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. So, Tony, man, any last shout-outs you want to give before we let you go?
I'd like to thank my wife, like she's always in my corner, always keeping me down to earth and making sure I'm where I need to be. Thank you, American Top Team, Dan, Richie, Conan, Primo, everybody there that keeps the gym running, all my teammates, coaches, my coach Steve Bruno, Coach Pahumpa that came and cornered me, everybody back home from Virginia, from North Carolina, all over, everybody that continues to support me, from wrestling through fighting, everybody. I'm appreciative of the support that I've received, the calls, the texts, the messages on social media, everything. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys having me back on. And it was great getting to talk to you guys again.
Yes, sir. We got to do it again, man. Get you in the studio next time. Hopefully you and the wife can stay in Vegas a little bit longer next time and enjoy Vegas a little more. Yeah. And
hopefully quarantine we can get out and kind of
just check out of the hotel. Maybe just say, hey, we'll check out on Saturday. We ain't leaving till Thursday though. Do it that way.
Well, we gotta stay somewhere for those days.
And listen, man, I know somebody who has an Airbnb.
I do have an Airbnb. It is the UFC Airbnb. I've had Jamal stay with me. I've had Chaos stay with me.
I might have to do that then.
Yeah, for sure, man. But listen, man, we appreciate it. Tell the wifey we said what's up, man. And we definitely will get you on again. And good luck in your next fight, man. We can't wait to see you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
For sure, man. Tony Gravely, UFC Bantamweight, man. We definitely appreciate that. Listen, if you guys aren't following some of these fighters, man, they've been great. Just watching some of these guys progress that we've watched through the Contender Series up to where they're at now, man, it's been dope. Him, Jamal, O'Day, we've had some really good ones that we met there. And they were just excited, like somebody wants to interview us, like after Contender Series fights, and now they're doing interview tours every time they win a UFC bout. So I think it's been really dope seeing that and seeing the progression of these fighters.
We've seen a few guys really like take their opportunity and run with it. There's been a few that have struggled. We've had Brock Weaver on the show, and he's kind of
trying to get back into the UFC.
He's trying to
now,
get back in. So but that's cool that's his journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of these guys, they fall out of promotions, then they're able to get back in.
Yeah.
But thankful for all these guys for coming on the show and being so gracious and always giving us good content.
Definitely. And hope to get Tony in the studio next time, man. I know it's hard. There's a lot of fighters that do come in that want to come into the studio, but the quarantine stuff, it's crazy. And that was one of the reasons too. I got the list of what had to be done, and there was a lot of tests to take, and you had to make sure. And I'm like, what if I do get COVID a day before and I already paid for my plane ticket and now I can't go in and stuff like that? So there's a lot of stuff. So I'm probably going to skip Houston next month too. If you want to go, we can.
To Houston?
Yeah.
Who's that?
That is, I can't remember.
Houston's in May?
Yeah, that's in May. It's not a huge, I don't think it's a huge card. It's a good card, but it's nothing like this.
We'll load up for July.
But July, we are waiting for that to pop up in the credentials, but that's going to be in Vegas. So it's going to be a lot easier for us to be able to go to that. So we do appreciate UFC opening back up and looking out for their little people.
Quarantining at the house.
Yo, the quarantines, man. Let me tell you, it's time to just be done. I know we're opening up more in May 1st. Vegas is opening up more. Yeah. I think 80% and 100% in June.
That's crazy. Do you feel like it's almost still? You feel like it's still too early?
It's been over for a long time. It's never been too early for me.
Wow, yeah.
I'm not a too early type guy.
It's too early.
Really?
It's
been feeling normal already.
No, now I feel like it's getting closer to it's okay.
All right.
But shoot, those couple times before it was like, oh, we're at 50. Oh, we got to go backwards. It's like because I'd much rather you open it slowly and then everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Than you open it too fast and then
But listen, man, everybody, people are getting the vaccines now, so everyone's safe.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's
far from harm.
Little different this time.
The vaccines are great.
A little different this time. Have you gotten vaccinated?
Come on, man. Don't we talk about that every week? I am the vaccine, bro. I don't need to get a vaccine when you are the vaccine.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. Dre, holla at me. Where's Dre at? Is Dre watching now?
We are getting
Dre. I need my scripts.
I will take a bootleg vaccine card.
Dre, I need my scripts.
I'll take the bootleg vaccine card. Man,
pen to paper on my own. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be involved.
Before we bounce out, what else? Let's get 5 more minutes in the regular sports world. That was good though, man. A whole MMA show. I think we could possibly do that every
now and again.
Yeah.
It's always good.
I was gonna say every Thursday, and then you brought me back down to earth. Every now and then.
Every now
whenever
and
we
again.
need to.
Yeah. That's
Nothing else really happened in the sports.
What do you mean? The Capitals play the Islanders today, and for the next 3 days, it's basically a freaking playoff series for first place.
Now, the Golden Knights last night clinched playoffs.
Did they?
4 years, 4 playoff appearances.
Listen, look,
shout out to the Vegas Golden Knights.
As much
man.
as I don't care for them, you can't take that away from anybody. That's certified.
Yeah.
That's
shout out to the Golden Knights. We're trying to get a couple people from the Golden Knights in the studio. The dude, Golden Pipes, who sings the national anthem, Carnell Johnson. He wants to come in the studio. I know he's busy doing a lot of stuff. So we're going to be talking to some people, man, coming closer to the playoffs. Try to, talk about some Golden Knights. Hopefully Brian Solomon will be back in the building with us soon. Maybe Monday, maybe the next Monday. We'll talk more about that coming up as well. We got a lot happening, man. So we're going to be doing a few changes on the Unnamed Sports Show just to make it a little bit different. It's still going to be the same, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about those changes in the future, in the near future. Not a lot going on, man. Not a lot else going on. NBA is coming up in a month away for the end of the season.
NFL draft coming up.
NFL draft, so we will talk about that a lot next week because that's coming up next Thursday, I believe, or Wednesday.
My Wizards are up to 6 in a row. Had a comeback win versus the Warriors last night.
I like the Wizards team, and I'm upset now that they're doing this because I felt all year they should be way better than they were. The beginning of the year just was disastrous. Even seeing Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook doing what they do, you have 2 great players. You should be in the playoffs.
It's not a question.
So right now they're in the play-in.
We're in 10.
The play-in hunt.
Yeah.
So that could be a very dangerous team to mess around and get into the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, look, because like you said, you have 2 people that can go get you 30.
Easy, anytime,
at any moment. Friggin' last night, so I caught the fourth quarter because when we were up big to begin the game, and then at halftime I think it was like a 4-point lead, and then the third quarter we just gave it all away, and we ended up going down by 11. I think we ended up on a 25-6 run to end the game.
Wow!
And they could not stop Bradley Beal getting to the cup. They could not stop Russ. Russ ended up with like 21 rebounds, something crazy last night.
And you played, that was the Golden State game.
Golden State, and it ended Steph's 30-point streak.
Yeah.
So that ended last night. I think he ended up with 16
I wish it would have ended a little bit before because he passed Kobe.
Oh.
He passed Kobe. I think the game before, he passed Kobe for the most 30-point games in a row.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's wrong. Jordan had many of those stats. That every time I hear that, I'm like, Jordan did that for like months
in a row, though. Jordan might have had like a 29 and then a 40. And
that is so weird.
Come on, man. Kobe had records. Lakers Anthony Davis is supposed to be playing tonight, I believe.
Yeah, I heard he was.
So we'll see how he looks. Lakers are, they didn't move down the way a lot of people thought they would.
I thought they would. Yeah,
they kept their head above water.
They treaded water.
But I mean, they're 35-23 in 5th spot right now. They play Dallas tonight, who's in 7th. Anthony Davis is coming back. I think him and Drummond together is going to be Drummond's life is going to get easy.
Yeah. Oh no.
Drummond's life is going to get very easy right now.
These should be the easiest buckets of his career.
Yeah.
Because you can only take away so much.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and then LeBron probably 2, maybe 3 more weeks away. I think LeBron might come back with 4 or 5 games left in the regular season.
Just to work himself into shape.
I don't think there's any reason to bring him back before that. You're right now, Lakers are 3 games behind number 4 Denver. Do you really want to kill yourself trying to get to number 4?
Well, especially not when that team is already on bended knee.
They're hurt. That would be the first round matchup, correct?
Yeah, that would be the 4 or 5.
So do you care about home court? Do you care that 3,000 of your fans can watch you in game 1 and 2?
I hate you.
I mean, I just don't think that matters. So they don't need to kill themselves trying to get a better seed.
Yeah.
And they're 3 games ahead of Portland at number 6. So I think Lakers are in 5. I don't think they go up or down. So I don't think you need to bring LeBron back right away. Bring him back in enough time to get back in basketball shape for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You already handled Denver last year when they had a better team.
When they had a full
When they had a full team.
Yeah.
With Murray being out, they have no chance against any team. I know Joker is probably the MVP.
No chance?
They don't have a chance to beat anybody.
Well, I'll
In the
say
play,
this.
I mean, if they move
the
up,
Lakers,
maybe
the Lakers, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, not in the
But
first.
Other teams, they definitely have at least a chance.
Yeah, but
Everyone has a chance.
everybody has a
Quan.
chance. Right now, Utah number 1, Phoenix number 2, Clippers number 3, Denver number 4, Lakers number 5, Portland number 6, Dallas 7, Memphis 8, Golden State 9, San Antonio somehow is 10, still in the play-in game hunt. Does this play-in tournament, the play-in games, last past this season? Because Dallas, Mark Cuban voted for it, and now that they're in 7th, and they're going to have to be in the play, and he doesn't like it. So did he not know what he voted on? But do you think this lasts past this? Because I feel like, low-key, it's exciting.
I think it does because it quietly goes back to what Adam Silver has wanted to do in terms of like little tournaments and little things. I'm telling you, they need to do something like some type of a tournament for that number 1 seed. I'm not the number 1 seed, but the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
Like they need to do something for the lottery teams. If they start doing that kind of stuff, that's all exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You like, so what, you sucked all year, but now, hey, we have the ability to go get the number 1 seed. And kind of take the lottery out of it. I like that. I don't mind that. And those things would be exciting to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Watching the same 3 teams get the number 1 seed and the Knicks never get it is number one pick. Is just, I'd rather see somebody play for it personally.
And let's jump back to the East where the Knicks have won 8 games in a row. I mean,
Go Knicks,
listen, man,
go.
these are some teams that are winning streaks. 2 teams I like to see. Like, I don't like Washington being bad because of the players they have. If they didn't have Bill and Westbrook, I wouldn't care. But having 2 superstars, you want to see them, being up there. But the Knicks, Thibodeau, I mean, is that what they've needed? Have they just needed the good coach?
Yes. They've needed
obviously more experience. Julius Randle couldn't be. I believe he could be a perennial all-star.
I've said that, and I'm glad that they stuck with him because I would always tell the Knicks fans, like, look, like Randall's playing well. Like, why do you guys keep wanting to get rid of him? Like he's 29.
Yeah,
he's 25.
Yeah,
let that man chill and just keep getting better. I think the Knicks biggest thing.
I mean, he's Lamar Odom, not on crack.
Yeah, well, no,
a lot like Odom. He is a lot like Odom. He's a little bit beefier and stronger.
He's bigger, but he doesn't have that kind. Lamar was a freaking point guard.
He definitely was, but
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Julius can still bring the ball down. He can still go coast to coast.
Yeah,
he's obviously not. Lamar is one of the best passers in the league.
Yeah,
and I think that was overlooked.
Yeah.
But Randall is a really good passer.
Yeah,
he does a lot of stuff.
He's underrated.
Exactly.
He's underrated.
He's that guy that can do everything.
I mean, for me, the Knicks, it was always about the Knicks being their own savior.
Yeah.
The Knicks always would look outside for a savior. Their fans, oh, we need so-and-so. Oh, we need this. Do it yourself. Build it the right way.
Yeah.
And just put in the work.
And then guess what will happen? A Kyrie or Kevin Durant will come
that's when they'll come.
your team is built like that.
Yeah.
That's why they went to Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets at the time had a built team.
Yeah.
All they needed now to go over the top, let's get some superstars in here.
Yeah.
Even though now, 2 years later, they have a totally different team. They got rid of all those players they built, but you still built up that franchise to look like something.
Yeah.
There's pride in that.
Yeah.
And now I think that's what the Knicks have done. So now a superstar would look at that and be like, you know what? Now their franchise looks solid. They look like they got it together. Let's go ahead and go there. Now you're at that point where you can sign a superstar.
Yeah.
You get somebody to go with Julius Randle and some of these young guys, that could take them over the top.
Yeah.
But we need to see the Knicks good again.
I would just love to see the Garden rocking in the spring.
Yeah.
To early summer.
Yep.
It's been way, way, way too long since that Like that, it's been since the remodel of Madison Square Garden.
And right now, the Knicks would be playing the Atlanta Hawks in the first round, which I think is a great matchup. Those are two evenly matched teams. Atlanta, another team that's surprising to me. I didn't think they would. They have good young players. I didn't think they would get to where they're at right now, especially with Boston and Miami just not playing good. Charlotte's starting to fall out a little bit. They've had a lot of injuries. I think LaMelo Ball is cleared to play.
Oh, okay.
But he's not back yet, but he is cleared to play.
Okay.
So, they're trying to make that playoff push, and who knows if Hayward comes back at all.
I would love for those two teams, the Hornets and the Knicks. I would love for both those teams to win.
We need Jordan's team to be better. He's the face of basketball, and it'd be great for his team to be great. Yeah, I think we all want to see that.
That would be so dope. It really would, and it would quiet a lot of those conversations. Yeah. Like, oh, he's not this, he's not that. He's tried his best. You know what I mean? Like
he's cleared to play. This is 3 days ago. LaMelo Ball was cleared to play. They expect him to return the lineup in 7 to 10 days. So
getting in shape.
Yeah, get in shape, practice, get that hand hit a couple times. To be honest,
seriously.
And see where it goes from there. But it is exciting to see some of these teams that just been struggling so long to be doing some good things right now.
Yeah.
So you have teams like the Raptors trying to sneak in there to the 10th spot to get in the play-in game. They're half game out. Chicago's a game out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. It's going to be exciting this last 3 or 4 weeks of the NBA season.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk about the NFL draft coming up shortly next week. We'll talk about that on Monday. We'll definitely recap UFC 261. Very excited about that, man. So if you guys aren't watching, I'm not going to say bootleg it, but just watch it how you're going to watch it. You going to be out of town?
This weekend? No, I'm home.
Oh,
I'm home.
Come on, man.
I might come.
Join us, Josh.
I might join us. Join who? It's going to be me and
UFC.
You. It's me and you.
Josh, there's usually 10 to 15 people at the UFC watch parties.
I don't want that many people in here. It's too many people. Still COVID.
We are out. Listen, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out once again to Tony Gravely, UFC Bantamweight future champion, man. We call all of our fighters future champs.
That's right.
So make sure you guys, if you guys missed the live, watch the replay. We'll be cutting up this interview and posting it all over our social media. So we're going to start being very annoying to you people.
I like it.
Yeah.
We're the itch that can't be scratched.
We'll end on that.